Using the type tool in Photoshop, first we're going to open up a Photoshop document. For this exercise, go ahead and make it a 5x7 or the Photoshop default. To get to the type tool, we're going to go to the T that is on the toolbar. And you're going to have kind of the icon in there with a bounding box around it. This means that it's starting a new path, is the technical term for it, but essentially it's going to start typing or allow you to start typing. So I can click wherever I want to. It's going to naturally populate with what's called lorem ipsum, which is just dummy text that lets you see what the font is. Now, I happen to have mine set to green. If yours defaults to the same color as your foreground, which you might have, already there, you'll want to change that. All you have to do is double click. You'll get a color picker and you can choose, whatever other color you want to turn it. Since this is just an exercise, it doesn't really matter what color you're choosing. Because it's selected, I can just start typing, which that's again the default when you first click it. And I'm just going to go ahead and write the brand that I'm doing my ad for. So I'm going to go ahead and do Hershey's. Now from here I can make changes to this. If I don't like this font, for example, I can highlight everything again. Up at the top I can go to my long list of font or typeface choices, see which ones make me happy, start wherever. So for example, I'm going to start with Century because I like it. It matches what I'm thinking of for Hershey's. But I also want to compare this to other fonts. So I'm going to go to the Move tool next, and while holding Alt on my keyboard, I'm going to drag, and now I have a duplicate of my writing. So once again, I can go to my type tool, I can highlight this, and if I don't want to keep going up here, I want to be able to see all of this a little bit better, I can go to Window and I can go to Character. Now I've already dragged mine over to the side. You can also do that. It defaults to being detached, but you can drag it wherever so you can see it. And this will allow you once again to choose it, but again I can maybe see it a little bit better because it's not covering over the text that I already have there. I can also change the color from here. I have a few more options within the character panel than I do on the top. You're welcome to play around with any of these. I can set the font size. I can play with the kerning, which is the space between two characters. So it's set to metrics. Depending on what font you're using, you might be able to adjust it, or you can just leave it alone. You can also change, if you have two words above and below, you can alter how far away the spacing is, and you can alter, I believe this is leading, which is also some of the space between the letters. So you can kind of play with that or leave it be, whatever, your choice. Some of the fonts will allow you to, so this one only has regular, but the ones that have arrows next to them, for example, Arial, gives me narrow italic, narrow bold. So I just have a few more options as opposed to just like bolding the typeface. I can actually shrink it a little bit by narrowing it or making it black, which is more intense than bold. But again, play around with it. But that's pretty much it. It's just a matter of deciding on what your fonts are. So you can duplicate this as many times as you want. And then as you're looking at it, you can decide which one you actually like, come over to the side and delete the ones that you don't like. And they act like normal layers in the sense that you can delete them. And once you've decided what's great about this, if you've saved it as a PSD file, is that you can come back and you don't have to have memorized or written it down somewhere else what the font type is going to be. Just by clicking into it again, I can see that this is Century. When I'm done with this, I'm going to move on to adding some shapes and textures, but that is in a separate video. So from here, just to make sure that I have this file, if I have to stop, I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to make sure that it's saving as a PSD file, make sure that I'm saving it somewhere I can find it, and then click Save, and I can move on to the next thing.